But Nigel wasn't only Britain's most successful Grand Prix driver. He was an inspired showman that the crowds adored, and wherever he went, there was drama. Drama that came from plain gutsiness, like pushing his stricken Lotus in the heat of the Dallas Grand Prix until he collapsed, from cruel twists of fate, or from his tremendously aggressive style when there was a race to be won.
And Mansell going round the outside! Incredible!
Nigel came up through Formula Ford, winning the British Championship, and then he and his wife Roseanne sold everything they had, including their house, to finance a move into Formula 3.
The money that we'd sort of saved and put together in this house and the things I'd sold, in 7 weeks was spent, and more money I might add, because I borrowed more money. And then after 7 weeks, everything had gone.
He'd crashed the car and his career seemed over. But then, while he was still nursing his injuries, came an offer of a Lotus Formula 1 drive. He grabbed it and spent 5 hard seasons with the team. But for 1985, it was time to move on to Williams.
We were very fortunate that the Williams team, with Frank Williams, saw some of my exploits in Formula 1 and decided that it was worthy of giving us a run. And we joined them, as you know, in '85. We never really looked back from that day on.
I was there talking about your first win at Brands Hatch in '85, and then in 1986 you were within an ace of winning the World Championship.
Thank you for reminding me.
And what happened?
Wow. I remember pressing the overtake boost because I was just following Alan in the McLaren. We only had to come 3rd or 4th in that race to be the world champion. When I pressed the overtake boost to overtake the Ligier, the tyre just totally exploded.
And look at that! Out that, and colossally, that's Mansell!
Playing it over now all these years later, I mean, it still hurts.
Yeah.
It's the one that definitely got away.
In all my years, the bloke that's given me the most drama and the most excitement and the greatest number of happenings is you. And 1987 at Silverstone, the British Grand Prix, there was this fantastic drive back. Can you bring that to the front?
Oh yeah, I mean, just sitting here now and I'm going goosebumps now, Murray. I mean, it's incredible. First of all, it's when Silverstone was a man's circuit, wasn't it? But yeah, I mean, within about 3 or 4 laps of the race commencing, I had a terrible vibration on the front of the car. And I knew I was in trouble because, I don't know why, but one of the wheel weights must have come off the rim. Nelson was starting to go away from me in the race. Anyway, we made a pit stop, changed the tyres. I came out with about 24, 25 laps to go. And as you know, I broke the track record something like 11 times in the last 15 laps. And I caught him with 2 laps to go and did the most incredible dummy down the Hanger Straight and jumped on the inside going around Stowe and obviously went on to win the race. But what people don't know, I was being told to slow down by the team. I was being told, you know, your eyesight's not real good when you're chasing. You know, you just really focus this way. You don't look at the board.
What did Nelson say afterwards? Anything?
He never spoke to me. No, he never spoke to me.
Nigel missed the world title that year with this horrific practice crash in the final round at Suzuka, which aggravated an old back injury. And then, for 1989, came the call from Maranello.
When you went to Ferrari, they immediately took to you. They called you Il Leone, the lion. And I reckon you started off on the right foot in Brazil. Because
it's pretty good, isn't it?
The car was never going to finish, was it?
It was never going to finish. I mean, there are some miracles that do happen, and up until that race, the car could never do more than 4 laps, and I took the lead. And then I was real angry because I was in the lead, and I was thinking, well, my car's going to pack up any minute now. I don't know how it really happened, Murray, but the car finished. We won the race, which was very historic at the first attempt with a new team. And then, as you know, it was something like 7 or 8 races later before the Ferrari car ever finished a race again.
Nigel, you were up against Senna, notably in the Ferrari. You were in the Ferrari at Hungary. And he was going to win. He was going to win the race.
Oh, sure.
No doubt
question.
about it. And
No
I was
question.
going berserk in the box. What were you doing in the cockpit?
I just thought, wouldn't it be really neat if you know, we caught him on a corner and Ayrton got boxed in a little bit, enough for Ayrton to come out the power, just a moment, in which time I could get alongside it and then try to come alongside. I was already there.
And Mansell goes through. Oh, fantastic!
And then I blocked him because I didn't move over. I stayed there, so he couldn't go forward, he couldn't go sideways, and it was just fantastic, and a little bit of luck, but opportunist overtaking manoeuvre that you've got to have sometimes.
But for 1990, world champion Alain Prost joined Ferrari, and Nigel complained that the team was favouring Alain. When his car broke at Silverstone, he flung his gloves into the crowd in a typically theatrical gesture and announced his retirement.
It was a decision that was being thought about carefully for about the last, probably about 4 months. Certain people said to me who knew what I was going to do, oh, the timing's wrong, you know, people say it's a reaction and this, that and the other, but I've had a fantastic career, but I think for the first time in my life I'm going to put my family and my 3 children first.
Well, whether he meant it or not, he was lured back by the promise of #1 status at Williams. He won 5 races to be second in the championship, although there was more Mansell drama in Canada when he was leading on the last lap.
He's taking the hairpin very... He's stopping! Nigel Mansell, just a few hundred yards from the flag on the last lap. He's stopping, he's banging his steering wheel in frustration. It looks as though he's out of the race.
But there was no repeat at his beloved Silverstone.
Nigel Mansell wins the British Grand Prix for the 3rd time in his career. You don't need me to tell you how happy he is.
He even gave his old rival Ayrton Senna, who'd broken down, a lift back to the pits.
Nigel, there is one television shot of all time that sums up the drama and the excitement and the speed and the danger of Formula One. You in the Williams, Senna in the McLaren, at Barcelona going down to turn 1. Neither of you was going to give way.
Not an inch. You know, there we were at 200 miles an hour, and, you know, and you've got to remember, if the wheels are a little bit out of sync, one or the other can fly, and that's dangerous. He wanted the corner. What he forgot was I wanted the corner, and what he forgot also was, you know, he was racing against me that day and not the others.
Wheel-to-wheel stuff. Look at this, they're almost touching. Mansell gets in there.
Mansell and Senna were as close on the final lap at Monaco in 1992, only this time Mansell just couldn't find a way past.
Mansell closes, but it's too late, and Ayrton Senna wins at Monaco.
But at last it was Mansell's year.
You are about to see Nigel Mansell become world champion of 1992. Mansell finishes, and he's world champion.
And then he turned his back on Formula One and went to America.
That year you did it, and you got the World Championship, and you then became another world champion in kart racing. Can you just briefly summarise what sort of a year that was for you?
It was obviously a very difficult year, because going into the winter, you know, I would have been looking forward to defending the World Championship in Formula One in the manner that I'd won it. And it was starting at the beginning again, almost. I mean, I quote Paul Newman, it was an adventure like you couldn't believe. First year they were mesmerised. I'd then won 3 ovals on the trot. The first one at Phoenix, I had a terrible accident. And in Indianapolis I was 3rd. The Penske team manager come up to me at the end of Nazareth, and he said, I've got to shake your hand, and he said, I wasn't a believer. He said, but I am now. He said, you're one of the greatest.
In 1994, Mansell returned from America after Senna's tragic death, with 4 guest drives at Williams to win his final victory from his very last Grand Prix.
And Nigel Mansell wins in Australia. Fantastic!